Hey folks, Captain Matt here again. We showed you a few weeks back that we were how we separate the breeder worms from the bins and the bedding and the cocoons. And but it really takes way too much time to do that. And so what we'd like to do tonight is show you what we believe is going to cut that time process almost down to nothing.
Worm castings are the best fertilizer on the planet and can revitalize soils that have been ravaged by chemical fertilizers. Captain Matt is not your average worm farmer. This year, he'll produce 10 tons of worm castings in his garage to sell in his local community. Matt wants to mentor you to help you achieve your worm goals. He doesn't throw big words or complicated information at you. He's a farmer with dirt under his fingernails. He'll teach you proven approaches that work. Subscribe now, and then head over to wormpeople.com to jumpstart your worm farming journey.
We breed worms. It's just a matter of fact that the more I breed them, the more I want to breed them. We have a lot of worms. We're now starting to breed them in a different way and finding that the results are fantastic. When we breed worms, what we do is we take a bin this size right here, and we put 500 worms in that bin in a very, very moist soil. And we put it in an area where on a heating pad so we can reach a temperature that is needful in order for to get really good reproduction going on inside the bin. And then we leave it for 3 weeks. But after 3 weeks, it's important that you pull the adults out, because if you don't pull the adults out, the cocoons start to hatch. And while you're pulling the adults out, you're going to hurt some of the brand new babies that are in there. So it's important. And we're at that point. We're at the 3-week point. But along the way, I came up with a plan to save a lot of time. And we're going to take a look at how that worked out right now. All right, so here's one of my breeder bins. These worms in here have been breeding for 3 weeks now. And it's time to remove the adults. And here's how I did it. The first thing I did is I took a piece of hardware cloth. It's 1/4 inch hole, and cut it to size. Sharp edges. I put tape on so you won't cut yourself over and over again. Placed it on top. Now, I took the food off the top of the breeder bin. I exposed the worms so they all took a dive down into the soil. I put this mesh on top. And then I went ahead and put 3 gallons of new bedding, fresh bedding, on top. Spread that around. That's holding the mesh down. And we'll give it a little food. Spread a little food around. Give the food a squirt of, this is water and molasses, just to wet the food that we put on so it breaks down real fast and the worms can come up and retrieve it right away. So what we're going to do now is I'll go ahead and put a cover on it. And we're going to put it back. Now, it's set and ready to pull, but we're going to put it back for 3 days. Just let them all start to come up. They'll come through the mesh, and they'll start eating, thinking, isn't this wonderful? And then we'll catch them. Give me a hand here, there, Jude. Let's put it on the table. All right. We'll uncover them. We're looking at a lot of breeders up top. I'm going to go in and find the hardware cloth and grab it and pick it up. Jude, if you can hold that with 2 hands there, buddy. And we're just going to separate this and bring it over to Jude. And then, Jude, you can put it down right over there. Oh, before you do, let's show everybody the hardware cloth underneath. Here's what we did. I'm going to just slowly and carefully move that over. Now you can put that right over there. So what I did is I got a piece of hardware cloth at the hardware store, cut it to size. I laid it down right here on top of the breeders. Actually, I exposed them for a while so they all went down. I put the wire on, and then I put a bedding on top of them to hold it down. Let me go back. First thing I did was I removed all their food. Then I placed the wire mesh down. I put a bedding on top which held the mesh right to the soil and left it, and then put food on top and left it for 3 days. And in 3 days, the worms came through the mesh, and I got to go in, pick the mesh up, and have the majority of the breeder worms there. So, hey, worm people, it is so exciting just to be able to share this with you. And let's do that. Let's just keep sharing it. There are people, you have some friends that won't see this video or didn't see the video. Tell them about it. It's a great plan. It really works well. Let's stay a real sharing community. So folks, until next week, have a wonderful week. God bless you, and we'll see you then.
Subscribe now, and then head over to wormpeople.com to jumpstart your worm farming journey.